capital markets union. I know it's always a bit of a question on whether we'll see something concrete in our lifetime, but this is a key issue for you and your colleagues, of course, meeting later today. How much support do you have for your plans?
Good morning, Francine. I'm very confident today that we will get a plan agreed. We will get a plan agreed because we all know we need to make more progress on capital markets, and exactly also at the time that finance ministers need to reduce their borrowing over time, we also need to increase investment in better jobs and greener jobs in a more digital future. So for all of those reasons, I'm confident that by the end of today, the finance ministers of the European Union will have endorsed a plan regarding how we can make progress on capital markets in the next Commission in the next 5 years of the European Union.
So, President Donohoe, how quickly do you think it's realistic to start implementing some of the changes? And what happens if you fail to agree on it today?
I think it's very possible that we can make progress soon. There are many initiatives that are already being implemented, but what we have done is taken a step back at the bigger projects that we need to deliver, and we have invited the next Commission to bring forward initiatives in these areas. So I will be very positive and very hopeful that across 2025, many of the different ideas and initiatives that we are focusing on today, that you will see progress on them, because we need to make progress faster than we have made in recent years.
So what could be the landing zone for supervision, maybe one of the things where we could see the most tension?
So I think as we work through that particular area across the afternoon with finance ministers, my judgment is that you will see focus on how we can converge our supervisory efforts within the European Union, focus on a common rule book, but also a focus on looking at the trade-offs between regulation and competitiveness. So my expectation is that by this evening we will have reached agreement on this, with the focus on convergence and also a consideration of how supervision, what impact it has on the competitiveness of the European Union and the growth of our capital markets.
What do you think of France's suggestion to actually advance as a smaller group to make, more meaningful progress with the Capital Markets Union?
So it's up to each country to suggest ideas regarding further cooperation with other members of the European Union. Minister Le Maire in France have advocated a number of ideas that they think they can make faster progress on in a smaller group. As President of the Eurogroup, it's my ambition and indeed my duty to find agreement amongst all ministers, and that's what we will do today. And I would see the suggestions that have been advocated by Minister Le Maire being complementary to our work as opposed to being in conflict with our work. Later today, we'll reach agreement on an overall direction with regard to capital markets, and if other countries want to do more, to be more ambitious, based on that foundation, that is up to them, and we will hear from them, I'm sure, in due course regarding how they want to make that happen.
There's a lot of discussion around, joint debt and how to ramp up, to pay for ramping up actually funding for European defence. How do you think we should go around this?
I think the first step in any of that, Francine, is being able to show that the current European Union commitment to the issuing of new debt, which is next generation EU, be able to prove to each other that that is working and that it is having the effect that we want. You're correct to say there are many different views in relation to how defence expenditure can be funded. My own judgment is that at least in the short term, this will come out of national decisions that ministers take, and the new economic governance framework, that's the new budget rules for the European Union, do give a particular recognition to defence expenditure. So overall, in the short term, it will be national decisions that ministers take, and in the medium to long term, if we are to get to the point of new instruments, we have to be able to show that our current agreement in relation to Next Generation EU, the new debt in relation to that, is working in the way that was intended. I'm optimistic we'll be able to show that that is the case.
How high do you put the risk of a recession in Europe, and how worried are you about Germany, given the latest set of data?
I'm confident, Francine, that if political and security factors stay the same as they are at the moment, and those particular conditions do not change, that Europe will be able to avoid a recession across this year and next. Our efforts to contain inflation are working, and we are containing inflation while keeping employment at a very high rate and still seeing growth, albeit a low level of growth, in the majority of economies. So my expectation for this year is that we will have economic growth this year of probably between 0.5 and 0.8% across the euro area. And for next year, I see that growth accelerating to around 1.5%. So I believe we will avoid that recessionary risk. But those low rates of economic growth are still not what I would want them to be. And that is why our work on capital markets today is so important. We need to grow faster in the medium term, particularly as we're successful with inflation. And that is why capital markets can make a bigger contribution to that growth.
President Donohoe, when you look at the question of joint debt, if there is more joint debt, we were talking about defence, it could be for other issues. Does it strengthen the international role of the euro? Any developments in relation to the common issuance of debt that are euro-denominated, if we can prove that there is a strong market demand for that debt, it does have a positive impact on the international role of the euro. And that in many ways has been the story of Next Generation EU. We have seen that debt that is backed up by all of the euro area, by all of the European Union, is something that there is a high level of market demand in. And it is one of a number of projects that we need to deliver to strengthen the international role of the euro. Whether it's the digital future of the euro, our work on banking union and capital markets union, and then proving that Next Generation EU is the success that I believe it is and that I believe it will be in the years ahead. Yeah. They're all really important ingredients in strengthening the role of the euro. It's why we were delighted to welcome Croatia into the euro area, and it's also why I look forward to welcoming Bulgaria into the euro area next year as they continue with their efforts to meet the entry criteria.